first time we looked at ladder status, we just simply opened one ladder block and monitored it. So add to that a little bit by this time opening function block 1, FB1. And as soon as we see the ladder come up, we'll click our eyeglasses button on the toolbar and see that we do see our status indication now. And if we change the forward reverse switch, we'll see that status value changes. We change our speed set point with the analog input and see that move. So we are monitoring status. So look at a little more information on this block. If we pull down the divider at the top, we'll see that we've got 4 data values that are coming in and out of this function block. And to monitor those values, there are a couple places we can go. Let's start by going back to Somatic Manager and opening data block 1, which is our MicroMaster data. And when it comes on screen, we'll see that it has the same 4 locations that we saw at the top of function block 1, but we can't use our eyeglasses until we go to View, Data View in the menu. Then we get our actual value column. We can click our eyeglasses and see these values start to update. If we start our drive, we see the value go to true there, and our actual speed is increasing. Turn it off, and speed starts decreasing as it decelerates and ramps down to 0. So we are monitoring the actual values here in this data block. If we go back to Manager, we can look at another view of this, because in the data block you're limited to the format that the data block gives you to see the values. In a variable table, which we've got a movie on that, so we'll just very quickly click this one in and start looking at status. You see our monitor value. When we start the drive, our actual speed is coming up, just like what we saw in the data block. Of course, in a variable table, you can add whatever values you want in that table. If we go to reverse, let's see that value change and go back down. What we can do here, though, is right-click in the monitor format column and pick the format or the number system that we want to use to see that value. If we go back to decimal, there's a number we're more used to dealing with. Okay, we can flip back over now from using our taskbar back to the ladder editor, and you see we have function block 1. Out of that window menu, we can go back and see where our original status was. Let's use a little shortcut to do one of the things we could do with cross-referencing that we saw in that movie. We want to right-click on an element and click Go to Location in the pop-up menu. You see there it shows start-stop drive is the symbolic name, and there's the hard-code address of memory bit 0.2, and we're in function block 1, which was highlighted. Let's highlight OB1 and say Go to that location. That's going to open organization block 1. There's network 5, and there's the place where it's used. There's our hard-code address showing in the symbol information. If we want to change how much information we're seeing on the screen, we can go to View, Display, and turn off that symbol information if we don't want to see that box. Get a little more ladder on the screen. If we don't want to see our comments, we can also go to View, Display, and uncheck comments, and those will go away, leaving us just with our basic ladder. We can choose options Customize and decide what we want to see every time we open the ladder editor. If we don't want to see the comments, you can uncheck that box, click OK, and now when we open our ladder editor, we will not get the comment field. We'll just see symbol information and our ladder rungs. Now I want to do something here that's going to make an error message come up. I'm going to try and look at OB1 status. We see we get a trigger event occupied. If we get help on that, we'll see there are too many test functions activated at the same time. And our limitation is set by which CPU processor unit we're using. In the S7300, most of those are limited to 1 ladder block at a time. So here we had FB1 open, already showing status. So we have to go to FB1, uncheck the monitor, and we knew FB1 was being monitored because it had the little @ symbol in front of its number when we brought up our menu. Now we can go back to OB1, click on the eyeglasses, And there we have our status now showing in organization block 1. So again, when you go to that window menu and look at all the blocks that you have open in the ladder editor, the one that has the @ sign in front of its listing in that window menu is the one who currently is being monitored, and that's where we need to go to turn off the monitoring or the eyeglasses in that block. So you see we have our OB1, we have our variable table. If we go close that, it's going to prompt us to save our changes because we did change some formats there. And we can just close our little cross-reference go-to box there and get that out of the way. Close our OB1 ladder monitoring screen that we're looking at. And that puts us back at Somatic Manager where we started.